Sent Anthony to LA. I'm supposed to be here any minute. Oh, there he goes. There's a lot of parts in there. Alright, so these parts are from a company called Chargespeed. It's a Japanese body kit company. They wanted to do something a little different. Everybody does the typical body kits for these cars, Veris and those type of kits. So I wanted to dig a little deeper and get something that wasn't as cookie cutter. So I'm hoping that, like most Japanese FRP kits and carbon kits, that this will fit really nice. I've used Chargespeed stuff in the past. Here's to hoping that it fits as nice as I remember.
Welcome back to the Throttle YouTube channel, guys. My name is Quinn. I'm here with Ricky, and today we're going to be working on our EVO 10 sweepstakes car. We just added a few body kits to our website, throtl.com. The Chargespeed is one. February deals is live. Use code FABSAVINGS to get up to 15% off, and every dollar you spend at Throtl is going to get you one entry to win our EVO 10 sweepstakes car plus $20,000 cash. Let's take a look at this genuine kit. I'm super excited for it. So a really cool body kit. Ricky and I are actually gonna start fitting this kit right now. We do have a few more parts for this thing coming, and then we're gonna send it off to paint.
All right, let's do it, baby.
All right, so I've got the EVO up on the lift. The first thing I wanna see is the bumper put on. However, because we're gonna be sending this stuff off to paint, I'm gonna take a quick second and pull the mesh out of the bumper. I've already got a couple of pieces out and missing. They came with the kit. They were sitting in my toolbox over there, but I'm gonna pull all of the mesh out just so we don't have to do it later. That way we can just send everything off to paint. We don't have to worry about messing with it beforehand.
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt. Hopefully you guys are enjoying that Chargespeed kit being put on the EVO. We just wanted to take a pause and talk to you guys about Upstart. Everybody goes through different phases in their life, and something that will help you go into the next phase of your life is getting a handle on and possibly clearing out all of that credit card debt you might be holding on to. Now, Upstart is a company that is going to take a look at you as more than just your credit score. They're going to take into consideration your income, your employment status, and other factors that you're going to provide in your application for a loan. Now, once you get started, you can take a look at what your rate would be without impacting your credit score negatively. And you can actually do that in less than 5 minutes for a range of about $1,000 to $50,000. That's going to help you get a leg up on your next phase of life. Your loan amounts will be determined by your credit, your income, and certain other information provided in your loan application. Find out how Upstart can lower your monthly payments today when you go to upstart.com/throtl, or you can just wait until the end of the video, but don't forget to click the link in the description below. That's upstart.com/throtl. Don't forget to use our URL to let them know that we sent you. Now let's get back to the video.
So this is the factory bumper, and of course it is made out of plastic, and it has this little section of molded clips into the bumper that press into this guy and kind of retains it. They clip in along the top here, and then it has a bolt on the top that goes up like this. Our Chargespeed bumper is made of fiberglass, has a little bit of a lip that was bended in to the mold, so I don't think we're gonna be able to run these plastic liners, so I'm gonna take this off on each side real quick, and then we can get to test fitting the bumper. Wheels off, got the fenders rolled back, so I actually pulled these air ducts out of the front bash bar. So this section of the Chargespeed bumper is actually raised, pretty much does the same thing. The factory bumper is actually flat across, so it doesn't have those recesses, and that's what these are for. So I don't think that that'll fit into this when we put the mesh on, so we're gonna pull that out. And now we're officially ready to fit the bumper. You ready, Ricky?
What?
How we put the bumper on?
Do it.
First time. See what she looks like. So The bumper's like mock fitted. Fits pretty well actually. Fits really well actually. The only thing is we need to trim the little corner of the Mitsubishi oil cooler setup because it's contacting this section, recessed section of the bumper. So I'm actually gonna just pull the bumper off. We'll shave that down a little bit and then go for test fit again. We got our oil cooler trimmed. So this tab right here and this tab right here actually pick up right here on the bumper. And we see this a lot with pretty much every JDM kit that we put on, whether it's this kit or the IS 300 was the same way. Yep. The US has better crash standards than Japan does, and because of that, a lot of the reinforcement plates and the bash bars are a lot thicker here. So sometimes we have a little bit of a difficult time fitting Japanese kits that don't exactly fit properly like they do on a JDM car. So on this car, because the big air duct is rolled back, more so in this section, no, it is this section. So because this is rolled back, this section is actually touching the crash support. So I've marked where we need to trim. So if I trim this out, then that bumper section will sit under this and allow us to get our pickup on this. So I'm actually gonna pull this bar off. We're gonna trim this, not a big deal. And then we're gonna paint it black because the aluminum is not the good look.
No.
We're gonna jet this off, trim her up, and then we'll have a finesse fitting bumper.
Let's get it.
We got our trimming done to this piece, so I just put 2 bolts in on this side and 2 bolts in on this side because we're gonna test fit the bumper now. If it fits well, then we're just gonna roll this up in and then you won't see it anymore and we'll be done with that. And then if it doesn't fit, then we got some more trimming to do. Now that we have the space, you can see we're good. So this set is supposed to sit on this bracket right here, and now we have the perfect space for that. So this thing fits literally perfectly now. Sweet.
Perfect, dude.
Very nice. It's been a few days since we got to putting the bumper on, so I actually got the bash bar finished, painted, and reassembled. Now the reason we took a little break from the body kit was because ice blastworks came down and they dry ice blasted the entire underside of the car. It looks fantastic. We spent a day after the ice blastworks guys came through and actually installed all of our Cusco bits, and we installed a beautiful set of Revo coilovers. And so now that that is done, now we can move back into getting the bodywork done and getting this thing off to the paint shop. So we're gonna fit the front bumper. It should fit perfectly now that we have our bash bar custom fitted and modified to receive the bumper. So all we really should have to do is bolt it back on and we should be jamming. And then we're gonna hit the side skirts and then we'll move on to the rear bumper and then we'll be done. The Chargespeed bumper is officially on, and aside from modifying the front bumper bar to receive the bumper kit, it actually fits incredibly well. None of the typical holes that you would oversize have been oversized. This is literally out of the box using the factory holes. The bumper gap to the fender is insanely good. The hood gap is really good. It looked a little strange when we didn't have this rubber molding piece in, but now that I have it in, it looks pretty much perfect. So this thing is also really solid too. Like, it's not flimsy at all, which is sick. Yeah, killer job by Chargespeed. This is a fantastic kit. We're gonna move on to the side skirts and then down to the rear bumper. Hopefully everything fits as well as the front bumper did because it fit great. It is the next day, guys. I've got the rear bumper brace off. We need to modify this kind of like we did the front one to make the rear bumper fit. So this is the rear bash bar. This is actually a mounting bracket. It's a super beefy bracket. It's for the license plate lights. On the factory bumper, the license plate sits about here. On our Chargespeed bumper, it actually moves the license plate up. So before it's like down here, now it's up here. So we need to move the lights, and luckily Chargespeed actually has a bracket for the lights to bolt into the fiberglass bumper. The bracket for the license plate lights is actually about here, and because it's sticking up so high, it's actually preventing the bumper from fitting correctly up on the side. So I need the bumper to kind of roll in, and then once it rolls in, then it'll seam pretty much perfectly with the body line here. But right now it's kind of hanging down like that because I can't roll the bumper up in. So we're gonna need to remove the bracket from this rear bash bar, and then our bumper should fit perfectly. So I finished mounting the rear bumper. It looks really good, and like the front bumper, just modifying that support pretty much got us where we need to be. So I feel really good about it. Everything feels good. Everything looks nice. This is a very JDM style bumper, which is pretty cool. And then of course we're gonna have the carbon overlay on that back section. It's gonna be like a little cherry on top of the rear, and I think it's gonna be really nice. So now we just gotta knock out that side skirt, and then we'll move on to the mirrors. Got our stock mirror off. We're upgrading to a Chargespeed Aero mirror. So much more sleek design than the factory mirror, which literally looks just like a normal mirror. In combination with the front bumper, the front end's gonna look vicious with this mirror kit on. Let's get these bad boys on. We got our first mirror on. It of course has this little extension piece, kind of beefs up on the line there. So we'll get that painted body color mounted as well. But for now, we're just gonna leave it off. So now we're gonna knock out this side and we'll be done. Both the mirrors are on. Yeah, this thing looks sick. Mickey 3M double-sided taped this little guy on just to kind of get the look. These do stick out a bit more than the factory mirrors. So I think that little piece is a nice touch. Overall, I really like this kit though. This thing looks really nice.
Time for me to keep working on the EVO, or actually start working on the EVO. I haven't really done much here. But one of the things I'm gonna be doing today, I'm gonna be installing these tow hooks, you can say. And they are brand Cusco, and they're really, really sick. Because there's not really a good spot or a bolt-on place to put this thing. I'm actually gonna be making a custom bracket that bolts into the front bumper frame that you see here. And the whole plan is for it to be right around here. Right? That's the plan. So I went to the hardware store and I picked up a big old nut that you can see here. And I'm gonna be using this as the base where this thing is gonna screw, and I'm gonna be welding this to a custom bracket that I'm gonna be making. That's gonna be bolt on to the front bumper frame. It's fairly simple. It seems like it's just gonna be make a big old piece of thick steel plate, drill 2 holes, bolt it down, and then weld the nut to the specific location where we want it. Once you tack weld it from here, we'll take it all apart and we'll take it to the welding table, and we'll weld all the way around. And then we'll figure out how to do the same thing in the rear. So right now I just put one little tack weld on the big old nut that we got for the front tow hook and my massive plate. So I got this really big plate, and obviously the shape is going to change as we get done. And I did one little tack weld, as you can see right there. And what this is allowing me to do is to see it before I completely weld the whole thing. And I think it looks pretty good in the right spot that we were thinking about putting it. This is it. I got my marking points done. We tack welded it. We know exactly what we want it. So I'm gonna weld all the way around this thing. Then once it's done, and I'm keeping the stud that goes in the nut. That way, when I weld it doesn't warp or anything. It keeps its shape. Cool. And then once that's done, we'll start trimming this plate so it can look semi-decent. Alright, so as you can see, I've been playing with the rear bumper now, and this is what I came up with. I have a bracket, nut that we rounded off already, except the flat part that I'm going to be welding. I already have it marked where the center is, and I have it marked on my nut where the center is. I'll match those two together, I'll tack weld it, and then I'll test fit it in there. And then once I test fit it in there, if it works out, then I'll tack weld that, and then we'll make sure everything works fine. Or at least everything's aligned. And then we'll do the full-on weld, and that's it. We'll paint it, and then we'll put the rear bumper back on. We'll put the tow hook back in there, and then it should be all done. This is it, the tow hook is installed. It ain't going nowhere. This is the best part about it.
The last thing we need to do before I send this off to paint is actually make a little bracket. It's gonna tag this guy. Pretty much hold it right there. So I don't have any of the screws in, but when I do have the screws in on the skirt, it's still a little flimsy. So this bracket is gonna tie in on that rib nut I just put in. It's gonna be a little L bracket, it's gonna tie into that. And then it's gonna hold the front cone of our skirt in place, and then it won't move. So let's do it. So our body kit is fully fitted. We got our skirt styled in. Everything is ready to go to paint. I want to get the wheels and tires on, and I want to get this thing on the ground to make sure we have enough clearance for the body kit, because this body kit is lower than the factory one. We had it set at a pretty low height to begin with on the factory kit, so hopefully we don't blow this kit off trying to take it to paint. But after we get the fitment dialed, then we're going to paint. All right, so after talking with Ricky, we both kind of agree that we're gonna need to lift the front, so we're gonna lift it 1 inch, and then when it comes back from body, then we'll actually adjust the right height, get it settled in. So we still need to do an alignment on this thing. We still have a lot of suspension work to do as far as setting up right heights and alignments go. So when we get there, so I'm gonna raise it. That way we don't blow the front bumper off trying to take it to the body shop.
This is the first time seeing the Chargespeed kit outside. It's not painted, but it is white, so you can kind of get an idea if you squint. You kind of squint, it looks really cool. This is a really cool piece. It like kind of covers the headlight. We do have a new set of headlights coming too. Let's go.
The thing that I'm glad is it still looks like an EVO. I thought this bumper was gonna make it not look like an EVO, but it still is clearly an EVO, which is really cool.
I think it's unique. See a lot of these cars, I think this body kit was the way to go, because it really changes the look of the car. Not your typical run-of-the-mill EVO 10 that you see. Like we talked about in the R32 video, cars can become very cookie cutter because there's only so many parts available out there, and there's the favorites. It's unique, and that's what I like about it.
Where are we going? We're leaving, baby. We're going to the paint shop.
We're good. We're good. Didn't scrape anything. We're fine. That's perfect.
All right, so we came here to drop off the EVO, and while we were here at Torrey Pines, we decided to come check out the R32 real quick. And wow, it looks amazing. They have done a lot of stuff to it since we dropped it off. You see here, this is where the sparkle door is gonna be sitting at, and they actually flushed it. We're gonna insert a picture so you can see what it's gonna look like, but it looks pretty sick. The hood, we wanted to keep this part carbon and everything else gonna be painted, and you can tell they already started working on that. The white body kit is completely smooth out, so when the paint hits the over fender, it's gonna look nice and smooth. You're not gonna be able to see those fiberglass waves on it. We're gonna paint this apparently, from what I can see. You can tell they've been working on the bumper, making everything is nice and smooth. This is staying carbon. All the lines are perfectly aligned now. I cannot wait to get this thing back to the shop so we can put all the goodies that we have on it. We literally have a wall full of stuff for this R32. All right, enough for the R32. Let's get back to the Mitsubishi EVO.
All right, Evo is off at the paint shop. We'll see that car in about a week's time when it gets back with the kit fully painted. It's gonna look insane. Don't forget, every dollar you spend at throtl.com is one entry to win that Evo 10. So get those entries in, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.